Here in the Treasure Valley, anyone can ride their bike, scooter, or skateboard on the sidewalk if they want to. Other places might have different rules, so know what the rules are if you travel or move. Riding a bike on the sidewalk might seem more comfortable than riding on the street, but there are still plenty of things to watch out for anytime we're moving quickly on the sidewalk. We're going to talk about riding a bike in this video. These pointers can be useful for other activities such as running or riding a skateboard, scooter, or electric scooter.
Whatever you're riding, make sure you have lights on your bike if you're riding at night or early in the morning. A white light on the front and a red light on the back makes you more visible and lets everyone know which direction you're going. If you're on a scooter, skateboard, or running, carrying a light or clipping one on your belt can be helpful. It's fun to listen to headphones while you're riding or running, but it's important to be able to hear what's going on around you. Think about leaving one headphone out or listening to music on a speaker. If you decide to ride your bike in the street, you're required to follow the same laws as people driving cars. When you're using the sidewalk, you need to follow the laws that deal with pedestrians.
Speaking of pedestrians, one of the most important things to watch out for if we're riding our bikes on the sidewalk is other people. When we see someone walking ahead of us, it's important to slow down and let them know that we're going to be passing them. We could use our voice to let them know which side we'll be passing on, or using a bell to let them know we're passing. On your left is the most common thing to tell someone before you pass them, because faster traffic usually passes slower traffic on the left. Warning people before we pass them is a good practice on the sidewalk, greenbelt, and on single-track trails. Making sure people know you're passing is always important, and it's especially important to give people with dogs or small children enough time to make sure everyone is safe before passing.
When we get to an intersection, or anytime we need to cross the road, it's important that we slow down and make sure no cars are coming towards us. Remember how we learned to make sure it's safe to cross the road as young children? We need to be prepared to stop and make sure we can see each direction before we cross the road. When we get to an intersection at the same time as someone in a car, we need to stop and make sure they see us before we keep going. If we can see the driver's eyes, we have a good idea of where they are looking. Sometimes the driver might communicate by waving us on. If we can't see where the driver is looking and we haven't communicated with them, we shouldn't assume that they see us. We should let that driver go and get out of our way before we continue. Other times we might have to stop and wait for a crosswalk light to change before we cross the street. Only cross when you see the walk sign. And remember, even if you see the walk sign, you still need to look for cars that may be turning across your path, especially drivers turning right in front of you.
Driveways and parking lot entrances are areas where we have to pay special attention when we're riding on the sidewalk. Just like intersections, drivers may not be looking for us and could drive across our path. We need to be aware of drivers who may turn from the street into a driveway, as well as drivers who might be leaving the driveway to enter the street. If the driveway is at someone's house, drivers might be moving their cars backwards across the sidewalk. We can listen for the sounds of cars and look for movement or special lights that tell us when a car is being driven backwards. Drivers might have mirrors or cameras that help them to see behind their car, but they can't see the big picture of what's coming towards their car, especially if we're moving quickly on the sidewalk. We can't assume drivers backing up can see us, so we shouldn't ride a bike behind a car without communicating with the driver. Sometimes bushes, fences, or other cars might block our view of someone's driveway. When we can't see around an obstacle, we know the drivers can't see around it either. When we can't see someone, we can't communicate with them.
Alleys are small streets that are behind houses in some neighborhoods. Alleys are just like any other street or driveway. We always need to look and listen for cars before we cross. Many times alleys and sidewalks cross very close to garages or fences. This makes it hard to know if someone is driving down the alley until you're actually in the alley. Make sure you go slowly and know that if you can't see down the alley, drivers can't see you on the sidewalk.
It's important to remember that riding on the sidewalk requires just as much attention as riding in the streets. Drivers can still drive across our path, so we need to look and listen for them anytime the sidewalk crosses an alley, driveway, or street. We should think about the ways that drivers might drive across the sidewalk, and always remember that if we can't tell if a driver can see us, we shouldn't be in their path.